Hello and welcome to Dabbling in Journals, and today I am going to share my travel journal that I made in Paris when I went on holiday with my son and daughter, and it's in my brown traveller's notebook from Traveller's Company. And let's find the insert. I have had a bad couple of weeks, guys, which is why it's taken me a while to get to this video, but I'm feeling okay today and I'm going to give it a go. And let's hope that I can get to the end of the video. So this was my travel insert. I used the short trip insert from Traveller's Company. I decorated the front and the back before I went, and there's a video up on my channel. I think I might have added that afterwards, actually, that little stamp of the Mona Lisa. So that's already been shared. Inside, I've added this bookmark of the Mona Lisa that I bought in the Louvre. So that's a little addition, and here we get started. So I started with an itinerary and I filled that in for the things that we'd sort of pre-planned before we went to Paris, and I've added some of these beautiful little stickers and also a photograph of my traveller's notebook enjoying a glass of wine in Paris. So I meant to take photographs of my traveller's notebook at the different locations, but we were so busy I just totally forgot. It's just, a week is not very long to go away, and when you want to fit lots in, so please excuse me, it's a total disorganised shambles, I'm sure, this video, but never mind. Off we go. I've put here, off we go. We went on the Eurostar from London to Paris. It was very easy because we could get a train directly from Leicester, which is our nearest city, to London, and then from London to Paris. Sadly, we got on the wrong train at Leicester, which wasn't entirely our fault. Our tickets that we'd pre-booked were for the slow train, and we got on the fast train because the fast train was late and it arrived at the time we were expecting our train, so we got on the wrong train. So I was a bit nervous that I might have to pay again, but nobody came and inspected our tickets. I've just did a little watercolour doodle there of the Eurostar train, which I'd never been on before, and it's lovely and so quick and comfortable and easy. I can't believe that I didn't even hardly notice when we went in the tunnel under the sea. So here I've decorated with some stickers. I bought a sticker sheet of Paris, and I did all the little sort of buildings along here showing us arriving. And this is a metro ticket. We used the metro in Paris, which is fantastic and very easy to navigate. We used it a lot while we were there, and that's one of the tickets. So this is when we arrived, and a lot of this journal is photographs because it's lovely taking photographs, isn't it, when you're on holiday, and they really help you remember everything that you've experienced. So here we are arriving in our Airbnb, and Theodore's trying out the bed there, and you can just see in the edge of this photograph that the sort of apartment was built with this really thick, heavy stone, so it was lovely and cool in there, which we really enjoyed because it was a hot week in Paris. And here Theo is sitting by the River Seine. We were so lucky because our apartment was just a couple of minutes walk away from the river, and both Theodore and I absolutely love water, and it took him a little while to persuade me to let him sit on the edge like that. I mean, he's 15, he doesn't really need my permission, but I was like, no, you might fall in, But eventually I thought, stop being silly, let him go and sit by the river like everybody else. So there he is. I put a little sticker there which says love, because I think it's that love, isn't it, that makes you sort of anxious about accidents happening. And some stickers saying Bonjour Paris because we just arrived. And here I've got a little tip in, because when we went down to the river there was a live band playing, and actually I think I have some video footage of Theo at the river and then the live band, so I will insert that now and come back to you. So as you can see, that was a really lovely experience. Both my daughter Ria and Theodore really enjoyed the music. And here we are, the first night. We arrived quite late actually in Paris, so we decided to eat in the restaurant that was owned by the our host at the Airbnb, and it was a pizza restaurant. And I've just got a photograph here of Theo's very exciting pizza. He had a big ball of truffle cream in the middle of it. So he'd never had a pizza quite like that. Pizza with a French twist. And I kept a little bit of the receipt there and added some stickers, and obviously it's a little bit of collage paper just to brighten up the page. So that was really cool. And then on our first day we had a sighting, our first sighting of the famous Eiffel Tower. And I've never been to Paris before, so I hadn't seen it before, and it's humongous. I mean, it's really so huge. In this photograph, we're on a bridge quite a long way from it, and it still looked really huge. So I did a little watercolor painting here of the Eiffel Tower, which, as you can see, it's kind of like surrounded by trees. So I did a little bit of green to represent the trees, and a doodle of the, or painting, I don't know what you call it, of the Eiffel Tower. So that was a watercolor, and I took all these art supplies, and I so wanted to do loads of art, I just didn't have time. I think when you go on holiday with other people, and especially when they're your children and you want them to have the most fantastic time possible, I'm not going to like say to them, can we just sit here for an hour while I do a painting? Because there was lots of things they wanted to see and do. So I didn't do very much art despite all my art supplies I packed. But then packing is half of the fun. Well, 3/4 of the fun. It's packing your arts, please. I mean, not your clothes, that's boring. And here we've got the river, and on our first day we went on a cruise down the river and saw all the sights, so that was really lovely. And this is some of the architecture that we saw during our river cruise, and I think that was one of my favourite highlights of the holiday. I really enjoyed just sailing down the river and looking at all the beautiful architecture in Paris, which is, I don't think I've ever been anywhere more beautiful. It was really lovely. And on our way back, after we'd had our cruise and we just took a slow wander back towards where we were staying, we came across a fun fair, and Theodore, only being 15, was very tempted. And so I've got a photograph of him here laughing, enjoying himself on a fun fair ride. Oh, and this photo here is of all the lovelocks. I've never seen these before, but on the bridges there were all these padlocks that people had like put their names on, so they represent a living relationship or whatever, because they're called lovelocks. And yeah, I just took a photo of those because I thought they were really cool. And I did that as a little tip in, and just added a little bit of glitter tape here to make a flap to remind me. So if my photos are tipping, the little flap reminds me that it will lift up and give me a little bit more space for writing. And another photograph. Oh, and this was the meal on the second night. Most of my journal is about food, I have to admit. I spend most of my life on a diet. I'm always trying to lose weight. On holiday, I think, who cares, I'm just gonna eat and drink what I want, and then I get like obsessed with journaling about it because it's such an unusual experience for me to, like, I had wine every day. And food, obviously more, you know, different kind of food that I would eat at home, so it was really fun. And this particular meal, Ria, obviously our French isn't very good, and Ria thought she was ordering salmon and she got cuttlefish. And it was green. I don't know why it was green. It looked like, I don't know what it looked like. It was, and she said it was a bit like octopus or calamari. It was that kind of a fish. She quite enjoyed it. I mean, I was very glad I hadn't accidentally ordered that because, yeah, cuttlefish. They've got to be the ugliest fish, haven't they? If you don't know what a cuttlefish looks like, Google it. They're ugly. And this was Theodore's dessert, which was aubergine or I think in America you call them eggplants. So an aubergine or an eggplant soaked in syrup and served with ice cream. So there you go, that was an unusual meal. And then the next day, this day, we went to the Louvre. And what I tried to achieve here was a collage that looked really busy, because the Louvre was so busy. It was like packed with people. It was like a health and safety nightmare, I should think. And the temperature just was boiling. It was really boring. Not boring. It was really boiling. And this looks like it's empty because I'm on the sort of opposite side of the entrance here, just taking a picture to sort of remind me of the size and how imposing the actual building is. It's absolutely lovely. And of course, this is a picture of the famous glass pyramid that's in the courtyard of the Louvre. And let's light down into some of the rooms below. And then when we saw the queue, we just thought, no way are people going to... It was the longest queue I have ever seen in my life to get into the Louvre. Luckily, I had booked or pre-booked, skipped the queue tickets. We still had to queue a little bit, but nothing like... I mean, those people, how did they not just pass out from the heat? Just standing in a queue for... It must have been hours because it was so long. Anyway, I'll add a little clip here of the Louvre. And we are at the Louvre, and we're in a queue. We pre-booked, we're in the short, long queue. It's absolutely baking hot, which I love.
Hello.
Do you like the queue?
Not particularly.
Are you excited to get inside?
Yes.
So as you can see, it was milling with people. And if this photograph I've taken here is people trying to see the Mona Lisa painting by Leonardo da Vinci. And it's like right at the end of this room. I'll try and zoom in, and if I can't, I'll insert a photo. So many people, I mean, they couldn't see it. In fact, you couldn't really see any of the paintings because there was just, it was packed with people. We decided we weren't going to try and wait and find our way through just to see one painting. So we went round the side to the exit. And as it happened, as we got towards the exit, we looked through and we could see the painting. In fact, we were probably closer than the people queuing to see the painting. So I felt that was a bit unfair, really. But we didn't know. We were just trying to get out of all the, because you can imagine for me with my PTSD, that situation was not great at all. So yeah, but a little bit disappointing because they have lots of beautiful things there, but there's just so many people, you can't see them. And I bought this postcard because this is a painting I just saw as we were walking along, and I thought, I really, really love that. It's so gorgeous, and it reminds me of the Mona Lisa. And when we got close to it, it's another Leonardo da Vinci painting, so that's probably why it reminded me of the Mona Lisa. It's got the same kind of smile. She's got the same kind of smile, but she's not looking directly at us. I think one of the things about the Mona Lisa painting is she's got this beautiful sort of enigmatic smile, but then she's also looking straight at us, straight at the viewer. And there's also some weird things. When I was looking at it, there's some weird things going on with perspective. Is it perspective? I don't know what the right word is, but the horizon line on one side of her is higher than it is on the other. And I'm assuming that's supposed to create some kind of special effect, but I don't know what it is. So I've been meaning, I need to research that and see whether or not, because he wouldn't have done it by accident. Not a painter of that sort of experience and skill. So anyway, here I've just, as I say, I tipped in my postcard. I added lots of washi tape, some stickers here, little sticker there of the glass pyramid. It was lovely to go there. I'm glad I went. I'm glad I had the experience, but I wouldn't go again. This is more my cup of tea. Only it's not tea, of course. This was a cheese shop near to where we were staying, and they had the most amazing cheese. That's what I always think of when I think of France: cheese and wine, which are already my favourite things. So we went into the cheese shop, the three of us, and we each chose one. Theodore chose a goat's cheese ball that was covered in pistachio nuts and was excellent. I chose a sort of classic Brie de Mer because I love it, and why not? I'm not as adventurous as my children. Buy what I like, I know what I like. And Rhea bought the reblochon Fermier, I think it was called. She preferred the brie, and I'd got a bigger piece of brie anyway, so because I knew they'd want to share that, so it was perfect. We all liked all of them. My favourite was the brie, and Theodore's favourite was the goat's cheese. And here I am drawing with coloured pencil a glass of red wine. And sadly, where I was lettering Merlot, I started a bit too low and it went a bit squashed. It needed to be like moved up a bit, didn't it? But never mind, it's just for a journal. So I did that drawing of a glass of wine using coloured pencils, and then I drew my piece of brie next to my glass of wine, and the brie cost a lot more than the wine. That's the funny thing in Paris. If you go into a restaurant or a bar or whatever, it was about 12 euros for a glass of wine. And yet if you went in the supermarket, it was €2.50 for a bottle of wine. So we thought, you know, having cheese and wine at home or in our apartment was a really good idea. We could have the €2.50 bottle of wine, and it wasn't bad at all. It really wasn't. So not that I'm a connoisseur, I don't know how to pronounce that. So that was our cheese and wine experience, and as you can see, that meant a lot to me because I put a lot of effort into that spread by doing a drawing. I've added the receipt there and a sticker of a bottle of wine. I think Pat gave me that. I think. It's hard to remember, and obviously a lot of the things that I'm using here, like this beautiful washi, was a Happy Meal gift. And this is the only day we had a very brief rain shower. I think we were coming, I don't know, what day was that? I can't remember. We had a very brief rain shower, and we hid in this park under some trees to keep, because it was like a thunderstorm and the rain just came down and we weren't wearing coats, so we hid in this park under the trees to keep dry. And my 15-year-old decided he was 4 because there he is playing on all the park toys, having a whale of a time in the children's playground. Oh, and this was when Rhea and Theo decided to cook a meal. So they went to the French supermarket, they bought all the ingredients and things they wanted. They didn't know what they were buying, I don't think, all of the time, but they bought a load of different things, and they came home and they cooked it for me while I was sat outside in the sunshine with my journal. So I was very spoilt by it. I think it was their thank you back to me for the holiday and the meals that, you know, I bought out. So they did this lovely banquet, I've called it, because there were so many dishes. So, and it was really good. It was really nice. So that was really, really lovely. And the desserts, though, they bought in a patisserie shop. They didn't make the desserts, and they were really, really good too. And here I've used some, you know, scrapbooking paper or handmade paper, some washi paper, these stickers that Dawn sent me just before I went. This was a little piece of paper that came in a Happy Mail a long time ago, and some other little stickers. So I really like that page. I like the green. When I stayed green, look. This was the day that Rhea and Theo went for their tour up the Eiffel Tower, and I didn't go with them because I don't like heights, and I'd already seen the Eiffel Tower. I was quite tired at this point from all the walking about the city, so they went off on their own, and they left me here, which is in the little courtyard of the Airbnb where we were staying. It was all full of these lovely luscious green plants, and I was sat there with all my journals and my art supplies. And as you can see, I think the page I'm on is this one, because I was just about to start this drawing. So I really enjoyed that little bit of quiet and solitude to sort of reground myself. And they went up the Eiffel Tower, which was really cool. Sadly, they couldn't go right to the top, and I'm not sure why, but the top layer, or not layer, the top floor of the Eiffel Tower was closed. And I don't know if it was something to do with the fact that 2 tourists had snuck up there and hid and stayed the night. I know that happened that weekend, so I don't know if that's why it was closed or if there was some other reason. But sadly, they couldn't go right to the top, but they still got an amazing view of Paris. And on the way back, they bought this bread, which is like black. It's like really, really, really dark bread, which was really nice. And we had that with that leftover cheese from the day before. So that was really cool. And then that evening, we discovered that it was a public bank holiday, and It was in celebration of the Assumption of Mary, which is a Roman Catholic festival. Is festival the right word? I think so. And in fact, we saw a big procession holding this enormous sculpture of Mary, and it was going through the streets with a police escort and everything. So that was really unexpected and interesting to see. I believe the Assumption of Mary is when Mary died and her body went to heaven. She wasn't left to decay on earth according to Roman Catholic belief. She ascended into heaven with her body. So I learned something new there. And because it was a public holiday, the French people were out enjoying themselves, and it was wonderful. And we saw this really cool little band. Let me show you a video clip. So they really were enjoying themselves. You can see they were really enjoying themselves. So that was really lovely. And there were lots of things going on as we walked along the river, and everybody was just happy and calm, and there wasn't any trouble. It was really, really nice. And later on in the evening, we were walking towards a restaurant where we'd pre-booked a meal, and we saw people dancing. So I have a little video clip of that too. That just felt so Parisian to us, to see people ballroom dancing outside in public. That was really cool. Here I've just decorated this page quite simply with this beautiful washi tape that was in my stash that came to me in a happy mail, and another beautiful one I think was on the same washi tape card, and some stickers. And I have grunged all my pages with some distress ink. So this day we went to a restaurant that we pre-booked before we left for Paris, and we had a very elegant taster menu meal, which was really lovely. We didn't know what we were going to be given. They did, when you just arrived, they did give you like a menu where that's what I've ripped this from the menu, and this and this, and this just told you what ingredients they were using in case there were any allergies or anything. And this I ripped out because that was of the wine flight that we had with the meal. That was Ria's favourite, the champagne. So, you know, she really, really liked that. So she now has developed a taste for champagne, which her partner might not appreciate. But the food, it was just so beautiful. I mean, that's what's really amazing, isn't it, when you go to one of these very elegant restaurants, the presentation of the food. And so I've put some photographs into my journal. I used part of the menu, some washi tape, some stickers of wine bottles because we had the wine flight. There's a picture that Ria took of me and Theo. And what was especially special about this was that Theo paid for this meal. It was he didn't pay for the wine, he paid for the meal. That was his contribution to the holiday. It was something he really wanted to do, and he'd saved up lots of pocket money. In fact, he's a very good saver, so he has lots of money. When he's gifted money for his birthday or anything, he keeps it. It's not much of a spender, but he really wanted to do this and treat us. So I just thought that was really lovely of him, and something to encourage that kind of generosity. Right, and on the next page, this is when we went to the Latin Quarter. So here I've got lovely pictures of the bridge. So if you can imagine, we were kind of like staying, I don't know which bridge, can't remember, but we were staying like near a bridge. Just walk to the water, over the bridge, and then you were in the Latin Quarter. So these are both tip-ins. So in fact, I've got photo on both sides of that one. And the Latin Quarter is called the Latin Quarter because it's the university area. And of course, when these buildings were built in university, people were studying Latin. So it's the Latin Quarter. And absolutely beautiful architecture. I mean, it's just such a lovely place. Well, this is the Luxembourg Palace, which was built for the Regent Marie de Medici. And it's now home to the Senate of the Fifth Republic, and had an armed guard. So there were people with like great big guns guarding this particular building. But the grounds were gorgeous, gorgeous, lovely. But it was very hot day there. So we didn't stay that long. So that was that. These are the lovely bridges that we enjoyed. When we went on our cruise, we went underneath 22 bridges. There are so many bridges. And this picture I took because it's the Université des Descartes. And for those of you that don't know, before I retired, my job was a university lecturer in philosophy. And Descartes is the father of modern philosophy. So I was excited to see that for no good reason. Oh dear. And that's the Pantheon. So that's where all the like famous people are laid to rest in France. I think Marie de Curie is one of the people that was laid to rest in this building. And I've done really simple decoration here with some really pretty washi tape, and I just stamped travel there and some dots. Sometimes the photographs just speak to them for themselves, and you don't want to overwhelm them. Other times you do. So here, another meal. So this meal, this is where Theo was very keen to try snails while he was in France, and he found a restaurant serving escargot, and that's a picture of his escargot. And Ria tried one too, which really surprised me because she's kind of squeamish about that kind of thing. I've had them before, and I think they're unpleasant, and I didn't feel any need to repeat the experience. So yes, and we had other traditional French dishes here. I can never pronounce them, but I think this one was like beef bourguignon or something, beef bourguignon, and I had the French onion soup, and it was really lovely. The food there was really nice in that little restaurant. I kept sometimes you can get these little business cards that you can keep. Sometimes they keep the receipts and so on. And here I just did something about just to remember midnight in Paris, and I even had a sticker that said Midnight Paris, because we spent our evenings down by the river where it was very bustly with people, calm and lovely, but there were lots of people about, lots of things to watch and see. And we took our card games down because it was lovely weather and sat till midnight by the river playing cards, talking and laughing and discussing what we'd done in the day and what we were going to do the next day. And it was really, really lovely. And that's a picture there of the river in darkness. And have I got a video? I might have a video. If I have, I'll put it in now. Are you trying to photograph And that picture is funny because that was like an air vent. Every time we went to the bridge, towards the bridge to cross over, we walked over this air vent, and the first time it blew Ria's dress up in the air, which was a bit embarrassing for her. And then Theo just enjoyed it after that, and he enjoyed it shooting his hair up in the air. Doesn't wear dresses, he was wearing trousers. And here I put some washi tape of people to add to the feeling of people bustle, and some other little tiny bits and pieces. Love hearts because I loved it. Oh, this day we went to the Centre Pompidou. So this is another art gallery, but this is modern art, and Ria loves modern art, so she really wanted to go there. That was the building. I mean, personally, I think it's an eyesore, but my son and daughter assured me that it was amazing and wonderful and beautiful and exciting. So I tried to believe them. This was my entrance ticket, and we had different pictures, I think, on our entrance tickets, but that was my one. But this is in the street. This is just a wall in the street that somebody's done, like graffiti art. I don't know what you call it, or is it called street art? I don't know. They've done it on a huge wall, and It was amazing. I just thought it was really amazing. I like that more than anything I saw in the Centre Pompidou. But there we go. Now, Ria's favourite artist is Louise Bourgeois. So that was another reason she wanted to go there, because there was a piece of her work there, and it was this. And that gave me the creeps. I didn't like it at all. Ria thought it was wonderful. She really liked it. Whereas it made me feel a bit sick and I had to go away and stop looking at it. Did not like that at all. But then Ria said that doesn't matter because it was still evidence that it was powerful, that it had a powerful emotional effect, which it did. But I prefer art that makes me feel positive emotions. And it made Ria feel positive emotions. So it just depends who's looking at it and what baggage you bring with you, doesn't it? Now here we went on to Montmartre, which again we're eating, look at us. And we ordered a cheese lunch each, and we didn't realize that we would have enough cheese to feed 10 people, but nevertheless we enjoyed it very much. So cheese and wine for lunch again. And finally Ria saw a French person playing the accordion, which was one of the things on her bucket list. She really wanted to see a French person playing the accordion, so I'll add a little snippet of that. She was so happy to see that. I hope that YouTube lets me put these things up. I have no idea whether my video clips are upsetting copyright in any way. Let's hope not. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I think they'll tell me if they are, so that I don't put it up. So we'll see. In which case I'll have to insert an explanation when I have work saying I'm showing a video clip I'm not showing. Oh, I'm rambling. Stop rambling, Ali. Right, here, Theo chose to have a caricature drawn of himself. He could have had a more realistic style of art, because there's lots of artists there doing very fast portrait work, which is amazing. But all of them were doing portraits. There were artists doing all different kinds of art in Montmartre. And here I took a picture of this artist's watercolour palette, which I thought was really cool, seeing it, a working palette on a working easel. That was so cool. But I couldn't take many pictures because obviously artists don't want you to take photographs of their art. They want you to buy it, and often they don't like it. So you have to be respectful of that, obviously. Oh, here I used one of those little bits that Snippets and Scraps sent me just before we went. Oh, and I think these. Oh, that reminds me, on one of my pages, I think it was it the page where I was left alone? When was that? Wasn't the cheese day? On this day, I forgot to say that I used one of those little tiny bits of pet tape that Snippets and Scraps sent to me that I absolutely adored and thought I would hoard forever. I used one tiny piece because I took it with me. I used this one tiny piece and I love it because it's a depiction of a traveller's notebook and I really love it. But I did put one in my journal. So now, where was I? So I was here, yeah. So that just reminded me when I saw this, which was a really unusual sticker that she sent to me, and some lovely pet tapes. And of course this is my favourite colour and it matches Ria's dress, and I put love here because I love her. And this little ticket was sent to me in a happy mail. I just wrote cheese on it, just in case I forget what that is. Only joking. Oh my goodness, we're getting near to the end. This is the day we went to the Basilique Sacré-Cœur. And I made a spelling mistake there, so I think I need to get a piece of paper and write it again and stick it on, because I put an A instead of a U. And I've put beautiful because it was beautiful, and we went all the way round on the metro, so we wouldn't have to walk up the hill. And when we got there was a cable car, or formulaire, or something that it was called in French, but there was a cable car, so you don't actually have to walk up that really steep hill because it was too hot for steep hills. So I love the hot, I do, but Rhea and Theodore weren't so keen on the really hot weather, not for walking up hills anyway. And I never like walking up hills. Too much effort. I've used some of this beautiful washi tape again. I think that was the very last piece of it, which was a sad moment. And these beautiful little flowers. So these elegant pieces from Snippets and Scraps, and a Traveller's Factory sticker I've been hoarding. So that's all the people. It was really, really busy there. It was almost as busy as the Louvre, but outdoors, so people weren't squished together anywhere so tightly. And we were going to go to Versailles on the last day, but we were too tired. We just thought we'd booked tickets, but it was a long journey to get to Versailles from where we were staying in Paris. We were all had looked at so many buildings and so many beautiful things. We were all a bit, do you know what? It'd be nice just to have a really calm and gentle and chill day on our last day. So that's what we decided to do. So of course we were eating more food. This is a business card from a shop where I bought some chocolates for you. And in fact, I'll show you a clip of that shop. It was really lovely. Did you see those amazing chocolate, I don't know what you call them, like chocolate sculptures? They were just so beautiful and really lovely things in there. So I did buy a little box. I couldn't buy anything very much because I wouldn't have been able to fit it in my little bag to take home, but I did buy a few chocolates for Ewan. And we went in an art shop, so that was really cool. And you wouldn't believe this, I really, really, really wanted to buy a palette of Sennelier watercolours. I thought, I'm in France, I'm in Paris, how lovely to buy some French watercolours. And then I was saying to myself, but you've spent so much money while you've been here and you don't need any more watercolours. And I'm like picking them up and putting them down. I'll show you a clip though of that beautiful range of art supplies that they had in this shop. So can you believe it? I resisted the temptation to buy the watercolour Sennelier palette, although I did buy a few pencils for Rhea because I'd bought her a set of Luminance coloured pencils for her birthday and she just wanted a few more extra colours. So they had them open stock in this shop. So I treated her. And here I have put Au revoir Paris. That is Theo down by the river. On the last night, we just took some baguettes and the rest of our leftover cheese and other bits that we had in our fridge. And we had a picnic down by the river and played cards and said goodbye to Paris. And I've put here, Mercy. I bought this stamp. This is the one thing I did buy in Paris was this stamp, because Theo was making me laugh so much with his everywhere we went. That was the only word of French he seemed to know. So everywhere we went and everyone who spoke to us, he was saying merci, merci, merci. So when we're in the art shop and I saw the stamp with merci written on it, I thought, well, I've got to buy that. And it was only like a couple of euros. So I did get that. And also we went into some vintage shops on this particular afternoon, and Theo bought himself some shirts and a jumper, and he was really pleased with them, so that was cool too. And that was the end of our holiday, the much awaited, much anticipated trip to Paris. I'm sorry I kept waiting so long for this video, for those of you that follow me, and I have been waiting for this video, but unfortunately when PTSD decides to overtake my life, there's not much I can do about it. But I'm feeling better. I've done my flip through now. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. And I'm just going to have to quickly read through all the comments because there's so many comments that I haven't replied to. I'm just going to read through them, put a heart to show that I've read them, unless there's a question. And I'll get back to my sort of more usual, more responsive self, hopefully very soon. So thank you for watching. And as I said, I will see you again very soon. Bye.